Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again. We've got two mirror matchups that we played at one of my locals this past week, and it was a lot of fun. We ended up playing against my man Kev here in the first match, and then against my man Kyle in the second match. And Kyle runs a very interesting variant of the Sakazuki deck, and then Kev right here runs more of like the standard idea, very similar to my deck list, which is always in the description if you do want to check it out. But he is going to pick up the Ice Age off of brand new on that turn 2 play, and then cycle out a Rob Lucci. And I was kind of surprised by trashing the Rob Lucci at first. Makes me feel like he's probably got to have, you know, quite a bit of removal in hand. But it looks as though I go ahead and trash my own Rob Lucci there. I was like, yeah, okay, I can get rid of this. It looks as though we have a good amount of removal as well on our side. And, yeah. Putting down the Borsellino, though, always love to have that card in this matchup. We're going to see a brand new coming down and picking up the Greater Eruption. Is probably going to just end up bottom decking the Borsellino. Yeah, with the Hound Blaze. It's going to go on to brand new, swinging 6. I'll counter out of that one, and then swinging 5, I'll go ahead and take. In the mirror, I usually speaking don't mind getting down to like 2 to 1 life. It's more dependent on, you know, do I need more cards in hand to, you know, potentially have enough removal for, you know, some of what he's got going on. But I'll just go ahead and swing 7 into life. He goes ahead and takes, and then playing down the Rob Lucci, KOing both of the brand news. The brand new definitely has, both of those gave him quite a lot of options to work with in trash here, so very solid start for him, having, you know, such a I would say an advantage of having these cards in trash. Now, if I wanted to play another Rob Lucci, it's going to take me probably a few turns, or potentially picking up a brand new to get some cards down like that. And now he does remove, unfortunately, my my Rob Lucci there, and gets a Kuzan onto the board, as well as a Suru, which helped him get rid of it. But I will trash the Kobe, swinging 6 into life, and then lowering that Kuzan down to 3. It's a pretty easy 2k counter for him. And now I can play Borsellino down, bottom decking the Kuzan. I know that the light glare is a little bit bad on my side of the table. It's unfortunate that the light was just hitting the table right in this spot, and it got me pretty good. I was like, oh no. But as you can see, we've got the 7-cost Borsellino down. This was also really funny. Kev actually forgot. I think he somehow left his 10th Dawn at home. So he had to pull out a card that he was just going to use for his 10th Dawn. I mean, this was just a practice match, so we were kind of warming up for the night anyways. And he does get down Sabo, gonna have to trash 2 cards, and he does get rid of 2 events here. So definitely makes me feel like he either has a lot of potential events in hand, whether that was another Ice Age, another Greater Eruption, or he's lacking on the removal ability. And it doesn't look as though he is lacking too much, but he does have both another Greater Eruption and another Ice Age in chat, or in his hand. And he's chatting with, you know, one of our friends on the side that was talking about, like, you know, potential play that he could have done. But, you know, like I said, we're warming up for the night, so we're just getting a couple of games in. And now he does have the 7-cost Borsellino to deal with. This is going to be a 5 to life, and lowering down the Borsellino to 6. He does use Rebecca, and then realizes, oh yeah, it's got to be a 3 or 5 that you pick up from trash, so can't pick up the brand new, but does get the Hina down, and can still play the brand new from Rebecca ability if he had it in hand already, but just can't pick it up out of trash. And now I definitely don't want to leave the Hina on board. I also would like to deal with the Sabo as much as possible. So I am just going to swing 7 into the Hina and bringing down the Sabo to a 4 cost. He will just let the Hina go though. And now I'll go ahead and use my own Greater Eruption to more than likely bring Sabo down to 2 cost. And as much as I don't want to buff up Borsalino to an 11k swing, it's looking like that's just what we're going to have to do. I'll go ahead and rest the 2 using Houndblaze to bottom deck the card and then swing 11. We do get the life off that, but still have a Rebecca to deal with. And now I get a Sabo of my own on board. I've got to trash a few cards. I end up actually trashing 2 2k counters if I'm not mistaken, because my hand was flooded with 2k counters. I was like, okay, I have all of these that I can just put into the trash, and then I can fish them back out with Rebecca if need be. But having Borsalino and Sabo down on the board is nice. Unfortunately, that that light is just decimating the glare on that card. And he is going to use Ice Age here onto the Borsalino. I thought this was kind of interesting because he does end up bottom decking the Borsalino. Oh, if you look, the Sakazuki has a hole in it. He was like, this is retribution for what he did to Ace. You know, had to pay him back for what he did to his boy. And yeah, he's definitely going to use the Houndblaze though, now bringing Borsalino down to 2. But I was thinking about this afterwards, and I said to myself, like, I guess he could have used the Houndblaze onto, or like the Ice Age Houndblaze onto the Sabo, and then swung really hard into Borsalino. And then you could still potentially play like a blocker afterwards. But leaving him with 7 Dawn here, what would be really sick is if he swings 8k into life, bringing Sabo down to 4, and then played 7 cost Borsalino. But I don't think that he had it in hand. And so instead, he's going to pivot a little bit and play Manchuri. And I tried flipping over to the Manga Law because I was like, you want to use that as a Dawn, right? You should probably just put it backwards. And he was like, nah, dude, I want to look at that card. I'm like, okay, that's fair. But with 5 Dawn remaining, he does choose to pick up the Rebecca and is just going to return 2 of the events to the bottom of the deck. Yeah, gets down the Rebecca for 4 though, and plays Hina, just going to pass with 1 Dawn active. The Dawn active is irrelevant in this matchup, but it is, I guess you could look at it like he could have swung with 9 on his leader and then played into the Rebecca. But I'm not sure if maybe he had considered potentially going for Sabo there. But there is going to be a Manchuri of my own coming down here now. I'm just going to go ahead and return 2 events to the bottom as well. And now I'm considering whether I want to pick up a 2k counter or potentially that Kobe. I do end up taking the Kobe. I don't think I end up really utilizing it that much, if I'm being honest. I think that the 2k counter would have probably went a longer... I think it would have went a longer way. But I'll go ahead and swing 5 into the Manchuri, lowering Hina down to a 2 cost. I knew that I wanted to pick up that Kobe though as kind of like a threat, like just a hey, now there's no way that that card is going to be staying on the board. So if I swing into it, you're more than likely going to want to let it go. I know that I'm in a bit of a pickle though, having just 1 life and 1 blocker up, so I probably want to get like a Rebecca down, and I think that's what I was considering, was getting Rebecca down and playing into the Kobe. But through the brand new search, I find a Hina and an Ice Age. I realized that I can just get Hina back extremely easily through Rebecca, and Ice Age I can't, but I do. I just end up cycling the Ice Age to get a different card anyways. And I'll go ahead and play another brand new. Kind of upset because I end up finding the Houndblaze that I was looking for a little bit afterwards, but it was a little too late for the Dawn that I needed now. And I was considering swinging 6 with the... I was considering swinging 6 with Sabo, but then I realized I was like, no, I could potentially lose depending on what he has in hand. So I was going to play down Rebecca, but then decided to change that up as well. Unfortunately, now though, I've given him information on 2 cards in my hand, and I kind of wanted to protect my Manchery here if possible, but so I will just 1k counter out with Kobe, and then he uses Greater Eruption to bring Borsalino down to 2. I know that Sabo as well is, you know, my potential getting out of, you know, some of the attacks that are going to be coming down onto Manchery. I will go ahead and, or excuse me, he will go ahead and use Greater Eruption, bringing Sabo down to 3 cost. He's still got quite a lot of Dawn to work with. I know that I'm on the back foot here. I've got 2 blockers to get through, as well as a lot of these other swings. He's going to bring Sabo down to a 2 cost. I'll just go ahead and block with the Sabo here, and then Rebecca is going to come down and more than likely just pick up like either another Hina or, there we go, Rob Lucci. Super solid, since, you know, Sabo's at a 2 cost and then Manchery's a 1. Rob Lucci is just going to get rid of that. Luckily enough, though, I do have 3 potential attacks, but now we have 3 blockers and 2 attackers to get through. It's quite annoying, if I'm being honest with you. It's a lot to work against. I do end up fanning out my trash a little bit because I wanted to see what options I potentially have. I know that on the following turn, I more than likely won't have enough to survive if Rob Lucci and Hina stay on the board. And I won't have enough to get through game if I, you know, with the 3 blockers. So my plan here is to get rid of, you know, what he has for attacks. And I'll just go 5 into life, and I will go ahead and lower down Hina to a 2 cost. And I pick up the Hina off my own Rebecca, bringing Rob Lucci down. And I was about to play Rob Lucci, but I realized I would have preferred to play Rob Lucci over a rested character versus just an active brand new. And now I'll swing 5. He will block once, and then Rob Lucci gets rid of both of the 5k, you know, plus swings that he had. Didn't really want to deal with a lot of that, but with what he has on board at the moment, you know, with 2 Rebeccas, I guess you could arguably get like 3 5k swings right here. But with me having my own Rebecca, a Borsalino blocker, you know, and yeah, there's just no way you're not getting through. But I am down to 1 card in hand, so we're lacking a little bit. And these later stages of the game become a little longer, you know, because you got to take your time and figure out what is going to be the right play. So I end up actually just doing a small little skip right here in the video just to kind of get to where a play was made. And I believe he puts down Borsalino, like the Borsalino blocker. No, so we'll see a 7k swing into the Hina. And I think just lowering down Hina to a 2 cost. I didn't really care too much about that. I just wanted to block with Rebecca and keep the attacker. I really needed to get some of these blockers off the board, and the only way that I'm going to probably be able to do that is just by swinging over and over again, either getting cards out of hand or potentially, hopefully, he would just block. But with 2 cards in hand for us, I am going to go a 6k with Hina, and he counters with Suru twice, gets 2 2k counters out. I'm like, okay, now I know that I'm down to, you know, him potentially just having like no counter power in hand, and then just being forced to use the blocks. I want to get like a nice swing through, but I am just going to use Sabo first, just to make sure that everything is un-KOable and looking good for the following turn. Now I only have to worry about removal, and with us having 2 blockers up as well as 2 cards in hand, I do feel pretty safe about that. I'll go 5 into life, and I thought that he would block with the Borsalino here, but he chooses not to. And now I'm just going to go 5 again with brand new. He is just going to rest the Borsalino, obviously, and then I'll go ahead and play Manchery for my last 2 remaining Dawn. I pick up a 2k counter, if I remember correctly, but this was just strictly to defend myself. It's like, okay, I have 2 blocks. I now have a counter card. He has the potential of going like 4 5k swings. Well, 4 5k or more swings here. With 2 blockers, 1 life, and a 2k counter, we're probably fine. It just depends on the order of how he does it, but it would also be a really big Dawn commitment for him to go that route. Everything would have to at least be 6k swings. And now he does actually end up deciding to use the 7-cost Borsalino, though. Bottom decks my own blocker, 5k to, I believe this is to life. I do choose to just block with the Sabo, though. I didn't want him to potentially, potentially have an out here. With him only having one Dawn, it could see Borsalino as well as leader attack, but we're just going to see a 5k. I will just go ahead and counter out of that one, and then he is actually just going to surrender, though. He concedes because we were able to have multiple swings while he had a few blockers and no life. So we take the first match, and then we go into another matchup against my man Kyle here, and he runs a really interesting Sakazuki build. This is it's navy package, but it also has CP9 in there. So as you can see at the bottom of his deck for a second, there was a soap sheep or sheep soap or something like that. He's also got like the Khalifas for 2k counters, Fukuros for blockers, and Bartolomeo's. That's not CP9, but you know, it's the 3-cost card that can be played from Rebecca that doesn't happen to be Hina. So it is it's really interesting how this match ended up turning out. He will go ahead and cycle, though, getting out the Fukuro, drawing into a new card. I'll get Ice Age out of my hand as well. My hand is insane. I've got two Great Eruptions, 1 Ice Age, and just a whole bunch of nada. And he also trashes Bartolomeo, swinging 8k that turn. I'll go ahead and play my own brand new, picking up that 7-cost Borsalino, though. I absolutely love that card in this matchup. It's so annoying for your opponent to have to deal with, and simultaneously, it's such a strong card if they can't remove it. And now I will cycle out the Hina and just go ahead and swing 7. So now we're both down to 3 life. This is where the game starts to get a little interesting. It's around the 5-6 Dawn mark. You know, you start potentially seeing some combo plays, some removal, and I will see that 6k come into life. I'll counter out for Suru, though, and then just a 4-cost Borsalino coming down. I think I'm looking to do the same, is just get the Borsalino down, protect myself, but also have, potential for, the following turn, having my own Borsalino as well as the 7-cost on board. Love to see that. And now I will go ahead and swing 7. He just uses the blocker and gets that 2k counter out of hand. You know, protects hand size a little bit, not having to go too deep. I think he could have potentially taken the hit right there, but I'm not mad getting a 2k counter out of his hand. And now Great Eruption does come down, bringing the Borsalino down to a 2-cost. Houndblaze, definitely going to go hard here and allow his leader to swing quite heavy. I'm not sure if he wants to swing with the blocker just yet, but I think he's still got 6 Dawn. Yeah, he's still got 6 Dawn to work with as well. So Houndblaze into potentially like a Rebecca blocker or something like that just to get us all set up. But I will counter out knowing that Borsalino was going to get removed, but it actually doesn't get removed, so we're okay with it. He ends up playing Rebecca, picks up that Tashigi, and puts down a Bartolomeo. So he's got a little bit of a blocker, just sitting there being annoying. I'm like, okay, it's rested. It's not that big of a deal. I can attack into it with brand new. Will he protect it, though, is the question. If I do go 3k into it, is it gonna force a card out of hand potentially? He will just go ahead and rest that Borsalino, though, as well. And I think what I could have done a little bit better here was play down, because I know that I wanted to play down 7-cost anyways. I could play down the 7-cost Borsalino, bottom decking that blocker before I had attacked. But yeah, I just decided to go 5 into it. He's just going to let it go. And now, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to go 6k more than likely. Yeah, 6k into his own Borsalino. Just keep getting cards out of hand here. Yep, and we get another, I think we got the Tashigi that he picked up, and then I can just bottom deck the Borsalino. So, in hindsight, it actually worked out a little bit for us, and I just wanted to get as much as possible out of, you know, that turn, because I knew that I was going to get rid of that Borsellino blocker. Optimally, it would have been sick if he had just if he had just countered out of the 3k swing into the Bartolomeo, but hashtag never lucky. 8k into my blocker. Yeah, I'm just gonna let that one go. That's a big investment. And then he slaps down the Kaku. Yes, Ice Age into Kaku right there, returning the 2 Fukuros. Does get rid of my 7-cost Borsellino. Hate to see it, but you know, not that mad. I'm like, yeah, the card's interesting, but I know that getting CP9 cards in trash for him isn't exactly the easiest thing, because I think that there's a very limited amount that are ran in the deck. So I'm not feeling super bad about the turn as a whole. I would love to have another 7-cost here if possible. If I could just attach one to, or not even attach one to lead, just attack with lead, bring Kaku down, and then use Borsellino would be amazing. But we are going to attach one. Go ahead and swing 6 to life. We do get a life out of that one though, so not too shabby. A Greater Eruption though is going to be going down onto Kaku. If I have a second, no, actually that still wouldn't work. I was thinking if I have a second Greater Eruption, I could end up getting both the Rebecca and Kaku. But, oh, interesting. I think we might still be able to either way. Depending on if I have Lucci in hand, I could just get Hina from trash, play Hina down, and then get Rob Lucci. But I actually choose to pick up Rob Lucci because we already had Hina in hand. And then Rob Lucci to get rid of both of them. Love it. Great play. Feels nice. And now we have an extremely established board. It's going to be hard for him to manage that, especially because I ended up learning this match that he's got the 10-cost Kuzan in here. So 10-cost Kuzan, you know, feels great to get down if you weren't in a situation where I had 4 cards on board. So a 5k swing, I believe this is going into Hina and lowering down Hina to a 2-cost as well. I'm considering whether I want to let it go or not. I'm a little hesitant on it, and I actually make a good choice and decide to counter out with the Borsellino. Protect it so that I have some swings the following turn. He does get his 10-cost Kuzan down. Now's where Lucci becomes a very big threat. Luckily, though, I think we have a Sabo in hand. So Sabo is going to go extra hard here, making sure that the following turn, that 10-cost Kuzan is practically relevant against me. And I'm totally fine with that. It looks as though we also have, like, sort of options to potentially... no, never mind. I was going to say we potentially have options to bring down the Kuzan enough to KO it, but I feel like we'd have to get pretty lucky with the Greater Eruptions in hand. Now with 6 on, I am just going to go 5 to life. We do get a blocker out of his hand, and I'm going to go another 5. We get him to take this one, getting him down to one card in hand. But I guess we didn't play the Sabo. Maybe I looked at it wrong. I thought I had a Sabo in hand. That would have been excellent against that 10-cost Kuzan. But yeah, I think Kuzan actually can go on a bit of a tear if he does have Lucci in hand. If he doesn't, it's slightly unfortunate. We will see 8k though coming down into the Hina. I'll just go ahead and block with Rebecca. This is going to be a 10k, I believe, to Hina. I'll just go ahead and let it go. Not much we can do there. Yeah, and then Rob Lucci does go extremely hard. Ends up KOing everything I had on board. I'm like, oh god, what do we do? But if I can get the removal necessary to get this Bartolomeo off the board, then I won't feel that bad. We actually end up trashing a Rob Lucci here. I don't know if that's because I had another one in hand, but with the Greater Eruption in hand, I think I had, I guess he has 3 cards. It would have been pushing the barrier in trying to go for game there. But I will use Greater Eruption on the Bartolomeo, bringing it down, trying to cycle into the Houndblaze. If I can't find it, it's fine. We're not like in an immediate threat, you know, of potentially losing the game. But we do end up getting Houndblaze off of the Greater Eruption here. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of bound to happen. You know, I don't believe we had seen the card yet, or maybe we had only seen it once. So the odds were pretty favorable. And I will just go ahead and bottom deck the Bartolomeo. He puts it in trash, but it's not really relevant. I'll just go a 9k, and I'm like, you gotta have 3 2ks in order to win this game. And we do end up getting that first match off of him. But a super interesting build. I thought this was really neat, just kind of trying out some of the CP package in here. And, you know, before you guys even ask, no, I don't have his deck list. I don't ask my opponents for their deck lists. It feels like, feels kind of rude to, you know, ask the people that, you know, we all compete against one another. Like, we're all friends, but, you know, if they ever want to share their list, they can in the comments down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Would love to hear your thoughts, and I'll catch y'all in the next one, all right? Peace.